Why was I blasting this in my car on my way to work the other day? Got people looking over like, what is going on?
Only 17. I don't know anything, but I know I miss you.
Ah, yes, it's the album I never knew I needed this year. There's been a drought of good music since Beyonce's Renaissance dropped last year. But Olivia came to the rescue. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to my channel and this very unserious video. We're cutting right to the chase here. So I had wanted to review Sour when it came out, but never got around to it. At the time it came out, I was in the middle of quitting my job at Disney, moving out of my apartment, and moving out of state back home. So yeah, my energy was very much all over the place. This time, if I don't review this album, it'll be a missed opportunity. While Sour was low-key giving me the 7 stages of grief about a breakup, Guts is giving Taylor Swift and Avril Lavigne vibes, late summer vibes. The album dropped September 8th, so very much on brand. Early September is still summer, though people want to pretend like it's fall. I'm a fall girly, so I'm not judging. The word edgy gets thrown around a lot, but I think the album is edgy. Guts is definitely a very appropriate title for the album as she's spilling out her guts to us. I would expect no less. She's a Pisces, and Pisces are known to be emotional and make some of the best art. She herself said it in Vogue's 73 Questions.
Now, you are a Pisces.
Yes.
What makes you a typical Pisces?
I'm a Pisces to a T. I'm super emotional and musical, and I love a swim.
My brother is a Pisces, and his artwork and designs are out of this world. Rihanna is also a Pisces. Rodrigo is also gutsy for saying some things in this album that some people her age or even older would be scared to say, especially in online spaces because of the fear of being dragged or cancelled. Also, I should mention she's not the strongest vocalist. And when I say strongest vocalist, I mean she's not like an Adele or a Beyonce. However, that seems to be how the music industry works nowadays. As long as the talent has something they can work with, they're set. In this case, she's got her looks working for her, and she's got personality, which comes through very strongly in her lyrics. Alright, before anyone says it's unfair to compare Olivia Rodrigo to someone like Beyonce, who is pretty well established in her career, or Adele, I am not comparing Olivia to Beyonce or Adele because you're not even in the same genre or category. Beyonce is in her own lane, and so is Adele. I just called your names because you're the first artist to come to mind when I think of strong vocalists. Obviously, there are others. There's Pink, there's Lady Gaga, there's Kelly Clarkson, just to name a few others. Speaking of very strongly, toxic is another word to describe the album as a whole, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? She's speaking her truth, and that's a point of relatability to her audience, whom I'm going to assume are mostly Gen Zers, and even some millennials like myself. So let's get into these tracks now, shall we? Get Him Back. My favorite track on the album, right away, even before the visuals were dropped. Something about it sounds very much like a combination of Taylor Swift's So It Goes from Reputation and We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together from Red. Get Him Back. It's a double entendre. She dates a boy, so an emotionally unavailable and emotionally immature guy who makes passes at her friends and has a wandering eye. And she knows he's no good, but she still wants to get back with him, but she also wants to get back at him. Sweet revenge. Next tracks. Logical and Love's Embarrassing. This line from Gilmore Girls Season 1 comes to mind immediately.
You really like him, don't you?
Yeah,
Well, okay then. Just calm down.
I just don't want to do or say anything else that's going to be remotely moronic.
I'm afraid once your heart is involved, it all comes out in moron.
You have to let your guard down in order to fall in love, and unfortunately that leads you to do embarrassing things or something like that. I want to point out that she's talking about love in both songs, but it doesn't sound like love to me. And that's not because she's young or anything. From her end, perhaps it is love, but from the guy's end, he sounds like a dick. Ballad of a Homeschooled Girl. Would I get cancelled if I said this song was kind of funny? I mean, Olivia looking the way she does with her pretty privilege can sing about everything she does being trash, and it's considered quirky. This is no shade, but let's call a spade a spade. Let someone else who doesn't fit the beauty standard sing that. People would be like, of course you want to curl up and die because look at you. Don't blame me, blame Twitter. People tweet some pretty vile stuff on there in the name of First Amendment rights. I was never on Twitter, however, some of those tweets would make their way over to YouTube because people on YouTube are reacting to them. Anywho, we have all at one point or another felt this entire song or some parts of it, whether it's at a new job or new school or new neighborhood, any gathering where you're not vibing with the people there. But when I heard the song, I immediately thought of someone I used to work with. No secrets was safe with this person. And that's all I will say about that before I become the person who is telling this person's secret, although it wasn't much of a secret because this person told everyone this thing and now I've thoroughly confused you. And so let's move on to Lacey. This song is so beautiful. At first listen, it's open to interpretation. It sounds like she either deeply admires Lacey, envies Lacey, or has a crush on her. And then I get to the end of the song and it's pretty obvious that she envies Lacey and wishes she never did. I don't know why this song reminds me of The Black Swan. Ballet is supposed to be dainty, but there is a very dark undertone to that movie, just like this song. It's so beautiful and has a little bit of a sadness and dark undertone to it. Next track, All American. Brilliant, although I wonder if she's lumping herself in with the specific demographic or TikTok persona she's criticizing. I'm Pretty When I Cry sounds very much like Tumblr Girl 2014, which has now evolved to the sad girl trope. The romanticization of being sad or depressed and refusing to seek help because your sadness has become your personality. As I mentioned prior, mental health is very real and it can be devastating, and so I find it very weird when people glorify it or try to make it quirky. I got class and integrity just like a Kennedy. Well, it doesn't get any more American than the Kennedys. That's the old money aesthetic right there.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I'm grateful all the time. I feel like she's calling out all them people online who always tell you to practice gratitude in order to manifest or something like that. I'm the eternal optimist. Yeah, that's definitely toxic positivity. I have tried to stay away from the comment section while listening to the music. That way my impression of the album is solely mine and not people's opinions about it. But unfortunately, while scrolling these here YouTube streets, I happened upon a short about the song being a ripoff of a Miley song. And to that I say, well, they are all Disney girls. They probably recycle all their songs every decade. There are only so many musical notes and chords. Songs are bound to sound similar even if not intended. Also, wasn't Miley considered an all-American girl at the time of said song release? Before the Wrecking Ball era? And so it's very possible that this ripoff, quote-unquote, was intentional as a nod or ode to Miley's song. So, everybody relax. Pretty Isn't Pretty. Well, TLC has a song about it in Unpretty. Bey has a song about it in Pretty Hurts, and now Olivia is making a song about it. I'm pretty sure other people have made songs about Pretty, but, you know, those are the two main ones I remember, TLC and Beyonce. So this is basically another iteration of the same message that beauty standards are, especially in this day and age of filters and avatars. But we still all participate knowing the standards are bull. Breast enhancements or boob jobs were a thing, and then BBLs, then the Instagram phase, and now people are taking out their silicones and lip injections. Give it another couple of years, there will be a new beauty craze that everyone is willing to take out loans for. Bad idea, right? Will I be telling on myself if I admit that I'm relating to the song way too hard? This is basically another iteration of bad decisions we make in the wake of a breakup. Quite the opposite of Dua Lipa's New Rules. I'm gonna chunk Vampire and Grudge together because it's basically the same message dressed up differently. She's basically a victim of betrayal in both songs. Again, I've seen in passing as I scroll YouTube that one of the songs could be about Taylor Swift, which is this another case of people pitting two female artists with similar aesthetics against each other? When will we stop? Even if there is some tension between them, the internet always fans the flames and makes it way bigger than it actually is. But back to the music. The arrangement or composition of Grudge is very similar to that of Driver's License. The beginning is almost similar with the piano, and then there's the verse and the chorus and the verse again and the chorus and then the bridge and finally the chorus. And Vampire, the video concept is brilliant. All her videos so far have been brilliant. It's never quite what I would envision when I listen to the lyrics. It far exceeds it. Making My Bed. The quintessential middle-class American teenager, if there is still such a thing as middle class, but then add social media to it. And then you get almost an entire generation wanting experiences, wanting to connect, but then getting caught up watching other people live their pretend lives on social media and rinse and repeat. Another interpretation of the song is getting everything you ever wanted and now you're wondering what for. Or if this is what you truly wanted, or is this what you thought you wanted? Life is confusing. Yes, there are some things that are out of our control, but essentially, where we find ourselves is a direct result of our actions. We made the bed. Now, we must lie in it. Sonically, the song is giving Billie Eilish vibes. This is my second favorite track on the album because it's the embodiment of Libra. Horoscopes and zodiac signs I take with a grain of salt, but I do think there's some truth to it. I am a Libra. I like pretty and aesthetic things. I am quite the charmer, and I'm also very indecisive. Working on that. Upon listening to this song several times, I have to wonder if this is a cry for help. And you can call me a conspiracy theorist and whatever, but going number one on Billboard or getting Grammys or getting an Oscar comes at a hefty price. And she made number one on Billboard within the first week or something of the album release. And yeah, I really hope she's okay. And yeah, because she's so young and so talented. And yeah, and that's all I'll say about that. Last song, Teenage Dream. It's giving happier than ever Billie Eilish vibes. Starts off like a ballad and then electric guitar galore towards the end. And the ending also almost sounds like that of Bohemian Rhapsody. The messaging is very similar to Brutal from Sour. You know, I've never understood this whole teenage dream thing. There are a lot of times in my life I would love to relive, and my teenage years are not one of them. So this fascination of being a teenager or being stuck in that mindset is quite baffling to me. My 20s were better, but would I go back? Not even. Yeah, the pandemic has ruined the first few years of my 30s, but I still don't want to go back. The best thing is to enjoy the present moment, as cheesy as this sounds, because trying to recreate the past never gives the same vibes. Trust. I've tried. I would say 2018 was one of my best years, and I've tried to recreate it, and it just wasn't giving. In case you're wondering why 2018 was my best year in recent memory, well, I took a cruise for the first time in 2018 to the Bahamas. I went to Jamaica for the first time as well in 2018. I got my iPhone and laptop that year too and started my YouTube channel. That year was the year of firsts and upgrades, I would say. But I also felt so good about myself and life in general. Black Panther also came out that year too. Good times. So my overall impression of Guts is a solid 9 out of 10. None of the tracks are filler, skippable tracks. Lyrics are very relatable. She's got her finger on the pulse of internet culture for sure. The album is reminiscent of 2010's indie rock, and if you know me, you'll know that aside from pop, 90s and early 2000s R&B and rap, indie music has a very special place in my heart. For context, when I lived in Florida, on my days off, I would always go to the movies, or I would go to the Disney parks because we got in for free as cast members, or I would go to Panera Bread. I would go to Panera Bread with my laptop and sit there for hours, and they used to play lots of indie tracks on the radio that I grew to like. And so now when I hear the same music being played at my job, I get all warm and fuzzy inside. I am such a millennial. I hope you enjoyed this video or podcast if you're listening to it on the podcast. What are your thoughts about Guts if you're listening to it? Drop those in the comments. Also drop this emoji of a sunflower so that I will know that you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for watching or listening, and I'll see you next week with another one. Bye!